Hey guys, Jang again from ultimaterc.com. Today I'm going to be talking about how to dye your wheels and other RC parts using fabric dye. Now the stuff you're going to use is called RIT dye. You may have heard of it, you may have not. It comes in either a liquid or a little box with a powder in it. You can buy this just about anywhere. I've seen them at Walmart, I've seen them at Target stores, even at supermarkets on the aisle where you'll find cleaning supplies, motor oil, and shoe shine, shoe polish, RIT dye, R-I-T. It's a fairly non-toxic stuff, so it's pretty safe to use. Very strong, very powerful in its action. Probably most of the videos and how-to threads and stuff you'll find on the internet will be showing you how to dye things to black, which kind of makes sense, right? Everything looks good in black. You know, it's kind of the easy way out when it comes to coloring things. But RIT dye is actually available in quite a number of vibrant colors. Here I've got a scarlet red. This is a sunshine orange that I've used. They have quite a number of colors, not just primary colors, but some interesting in-between colors in there. What I've got here today are a pair of Proline wheels, which you may have seen in another video I did on removing chrome. They used to be chrome wheels, but I've removed that, so they're just white now. And I want to actually try a unique mix of a green and a black this time. So I want to have kind of a really dark, deep green for these. This technique won't just work for wheels, it'll work for other things too. I've got some little ball ends here, some captured rod ends. Pretty much anything that is light in color that's a plastic is likely to be able to take a dye. This stuff basically just works as a stain. It embeds itself into the plastic, and then it's pretty much permanent. Even if you get scratches on the outside, there's still a little bit that goes into the plastic. Nylons are the best material for soaking up dyes, but you can really experiment. I've tried it even on some rubber compounds. Have taken up a little bit of the dye, not quite as well, but like I said, it's safe stuff. It's not going to do any harm to your environment. It's not going to do any harm to the parts themselves. So if you have stuff that's fairly light in color, know that you can always dye something to a darker color. So you can go from white to anything all the way to black. You can go from yellow to a medium green or to a blood red. Blue usually doesn't dye too much of anything except maybe a dark purple or to a black color. So feel free to experiment. What you're going to need basically would be just a bottle or a box of the RIT dye, which is going to be like a few bucks. It's literally like $3 for a box. It's going to do probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 sets of large wheels. So it's really concentrated stuff. You will need a pot, just a regular pot, to heat up some water. You're going to bring up some water to a boiling temperature, and then you're going to dissolve the dye into that, and then place your items into the hot watery dye to soak for some time. And then another thing that's useful, especially if you don't want to go to black, you don't want to go to a really dark color, it's useful to have some way to get the items out of there while the heat is still on, just to check on them, kind of do a spot check every few minutes, depending on how much depth of color that you want in there. If let's say I was to put a white item into a red dye, then put it in for maybe 30 seconds to a minute, pull it out, and it'll be pink. Put it back in, pull it out, it might be, you know, like a light desaturated scarlet. Put it in and leave it there for quite some time, and it can get to a blood red. So the longer you leave it in there, the deeper, the richer of a color that you'll get. For doing small items, I like to use just a strainer, you know, something nice and large that you can just set right there in the pot, and it kind of does the work for you. For all small things, you just literally just throw them in there. It's very convenient. You know, you can kind of move it around to keep it stirred up nicely. If you're going to be doing larger objects, you're going to want to have obviously a larger pot to do that in, and pretty much anything that you can come up with to suspend the item in the pot. Different things you can do for that is you can use fishing wire or string or twine and just connect it to a stick. You can literally just have it hanging hanging from a stick that's long enough to fit all the way across the pot. And you know, you can chain different things together. Lots of different things you can do. Just put a hook around it and kind of hook it onto the side. So today I'm going to be doing just these wheels. You want to make sure that any object that you are going to dye is clean, completely clean. No oil on it in particular, no paint. Dye will not go through oil, it will not go through paint, it will not go through chrome coatings or any sort of coating very well. So make sure that you've got clean, kind of virgin plastic that you're going to be soaking this into. So with that said, I'm going to go get some water up to a boiling point and see how this works. Okay, so here we go. Got our water, brought it up, filled up this pot with water and boiled it ahead of time. Figured you guys wouldn't want to watch me boiling water. Turn the heat down. You don't want it to be super hot because you don't want your plastic items to be melting down there on the bottom. So all I'm going to do here, I did bring in an extra tool, these little tongs that obviously are not used for food any longer. It's helpful for helping to stir things up. And I've also cleared off the area around here because I don't want to get anything else dyed. Fabric dye, like I said, it's strong stuff. You probably want to wear black clothing or clothing that you don't care what color it is, because every little bit of that stuff, even a little splash coming up, is pretty much going to be permanently dyeing anything that it touches, so watch out for that. So all I'm going to do now is just have a previously opened couple bags of this stuff. I've got my green here and I've got some black. Like I said, I want to have kind of a dark green here. You do not need to use the whole bag of this stuff. It's very, very highly concentrated. This is about a quart of water. For a nice, thick, good, rich color, you only need maybe a half a bag at most. I usually use about a third of a bag. And just stir it in. This is the powdered stuff. In this case, I'm using about a quarter of this bag. It's already been used before. There we go. That aside, and like I said, I want it to be nice and dark, so I've got some excess of the black that's falling off here. I'm not going to use a whole lot of it. Stir that up and see what it looks like. It takes it a minute or so for all of it to dissolve in there. Want to make sure that you actually have a liquid and not just some water sitting on top of a bunch of powder. And there we go. You're starting to see a little bit of the color. You can kind of see it in the bubbles. I'm just going to test it out. Now I'm not going to be able to put all of my wheels in here at the same time, but I can fit about 2. Just want to test it out and see what the color. Oh, that is what I want. That's the perfect color. So I'm going to just go ahead and drop both of these in there and just kind of keep it moving. Like I say, you probably don't want to just leave these in there sitting all the way down on the bottom because the heat is coming up from underneath and it could start to warp your plastic if you get them too hot. But basically you just want to check this on a fairly regular basis. You can see it's already picking up the color. Alright, that's about what I'm looking for in my color. It's pretty even all around. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good, and that's the color that I want. So I'm going to take it out right now. Just have a little piece of aluminum foil over here by the side. You might not see it, but just going to take that out. Perfect. And then all you want to do from there is I'm going to take these over to the sink and rinse them off with cold water. I'm going to make sure that you want to make sure you take anything that's in the sink that you don't want to be dyed out. And if you have a white porcelain sink, be sure to wash the sink immediately as soon as you rinse this, because the dye will get into that too, and your parents or your wife or if anybody who you're living with or your landlord would not be very happy to have a dyed sink. So I'm going to just go ahead and rinse these off, and that'll be that. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure you subscribe to the Ultimate RC Network YouTube channel at youtube.com/user/Ultimate RC Network. And I will see you on the Ultimate RC forums. Bye for now.